Hey guys, Matt Handshaking Holmes here, and I would like to welcome you to the era of one, not 6 degrees of separation. That's right, we're gonna be talking about handshakes and networking and how it plays into success for your career. Okay, so of course, networking, there's a couple different reasons you wanna do it, right? You might wanna meet with your mentor, your idol, high net worth customer, investors, and the good news I have for you is they are 1 degree of separation away from you. Yes, that means you are in the era where you can reach directly out to them because of where technology has taken us. I hope you're ready for some good news, okay? So in addition to inspiration, success, and expertise from mentors, there's lots of other benefits that we can all agree on that come with networking, and sometimes that can be a challenge for many of you, is you can't reach out to the person who you need some of their time. They might not respond to your emails. They might not respond to your LinkedIn request. And the good news is that you now just need to create a personal brand that represents yourself and your role in your industry. And that is what allows you to reach out to anyone with 1 degree of separation. Now, of course, many of you might know the theory about 6 degrees of separation, and that still works. And with technology, the good news for you guys is there still might be 2 or 3 degrees. You can still ask your friend for a referral. But I'll be sharing a story with you about how that didn't work as successful as the era of 1 degree of separation has worked for me personally. So moving right along, my name's Matt. My company is called Handshaking.com, where we are big believers in networking. And I actually broke the world record for the world's longest handshake between 2 people. It went like this for about 46 hours. What was that, 5 seconds? So anyway, I'm very serious about networking, and I really believe that strategically networking and meeting a select few people in your industry can have a monumental effect on your career. Ask any startup that's ever raised venture capital. So what it comes down to is your personal brand and publishing content online that's relevant to you and your industry, okay? Now, for me, the best way to use my personal brand to connect with other people, it always comes down to providing value to them. Stop thinking about what you're looking for and start thinking about how you can help them and how you can convey that in the first sentence. For me, the most comfortable way to do that was to ask to interview them about their success. Have you guys seen the podcast industry? It's exploding. There used to be several thousand podcasts. Now there's hundreds of thousands. Or maybe we're past 1 million. Does anyone know? Do you know? Anyway, a podcast is one of the many ways you can interview other folks about their success. And interviewing people about their success is one of the many ways you can start a relationship by providing value to that person immediately. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about interviews, okay? The reason asking to interview someone is so impactful is because in the first sentence you say to them, it tells them that it's about them and they're in control, and anything you learn from them, you plan to share that with everyone you've ever met. So needless to say, interviewing other folks about their accomplishments is something that can really grab their attention, and that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. Interviewing is your secret key to networking, and 2019 is one of the first years where we can build free websites and publish these interviews. You want to know how I got the attention of billionaire Jeff Hoffman, one of the entrepreneurs behind Priceline? Well, I probably wouldn't have got his attention, but when he visited my LinkedIn page, he saw my interviews with other billionaires. And that's how my personal brand allowed me to have 1 degree of separation with myself and Jeff Hoffman. However, if I would have asked one of my friends, assuming I had a friend that worked for Jeff, well, then that friend would have to worry about that relationship, and I would have to enter the company here and climb the ladder to try to get to the CEO, and that's 6 degrees of connections. And we don't have time for that, especially if we're up to good things and doing good work, and of course, taking time to provide value to the people we're meeting and the people we're sharing their message with. Now, of course, one of the many benefits of interviewing is you're probably going to want to interview the top dogs in your industry. And when you provide value first, you are separated from the rest of everyone who wants coffee meetings, where they want to pick your brain, and then not share what, and this is not just billionaires, guys. This is idols, this is mentors, this is all types of people who may be hard to access in your world. So don't get wrapped up on billionaires. I just prefer to use that term because they're generally hard to access, especially in my industry where we're a bunch of starving entrepreneurs when we start out. So anyway, going back to the interview, it's about providing value first. And when you do that and start publishing content on your personal brand, you actually increase your credibility quite a bit. And then other people will want to meet with you just because you've gained very valuable information from the top dogs. And this surprisingly is a process that can take just a few months. You know, I remember back in 2015, I had gotten out of real estate and I had started my company Handshaking. And to me, success in 2015, by the end of that year, if I could just sit down with a venture capitalist, Brad Feld, and ask him a few questions, that is what I was going to consider success that year. I had already been comfortable financially from the real estate. I was focused on networking and finding my passion. In 2015, Brad met with me in July, and by the end of the year, my friends had referred the first billionaire onto the Handshaking video series. How cool is that? And let's think about that. Now, why did a friend refer a billionaire to my video series? Because I was providing value to the guests that I was interviewing on my personal website, on my YouTube channel, on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook. You can publish content in lots of places, guys, and that content can speak louder than a personal recommendation can, with some personal recommendations. You know, everyone you respect and have relationships with, there's different levels that you need to think about, and there's different levels of success that they've reached in comparison with where you are in your career. But content is public and rules all, and that is what can help you live in the era of 1 degree of separation. So I'd like to dig into a couple things a little bit deeper, okay? We've talked about the era of 1 degree of separation instead of going through friends. We've talked about your personal brand. We've talked about how to reach out to hard to access people, okay, right? You guys remember that. You're going to provide value first. For me, it was through interviews. And with interviews, you get the content on your personal brand. Now, there's other ways to increase your credibility, but we don't care about that. Because when you bring in the top dogs and they're your friends online, and it's not just one top dog, it's naturally all of them, then that's going to raise your credibility. Let's pause for a second. Many of you may be asking, what is a personal brand? I've talked with tons of people who want to launch their personal brand but don't know the first step of launching your personal brand. In my opinion, your domain name and personal website is where your personal brand should live at the end of the day. But don't worry, you don't need to build a website today. You just need to get started today and interview your first person that you look up to who you can access today. And I promise you, in 12 months, you're gonna be somewhere you've never dreamed of, okay? So if you don't have your domain name, buy that because you can use it later. You don't want someone else, some cyber squatter, picking that up and reselling it to you later. Just buy your domain name. And for now, if you don't want to invest any money, let's just focus on some of the technology you can use to network with hard to access folks, okay? So for me, I really like to come back to LinkedIn because that's how I reached out to Jeff Hoffman with Priceline. Remember him? I added him on LinkedIn and sent him a cold message. Of course, we had mutual connections because I had been interviewing people in his space for a few months, or several months, definitely under a year though. And I don't know if those mutual connections helped. They probably didn't hurt. And what helped was the fact that I asked to interview him about his success. And he responded and said, yes, let's schedule an interview. I met Jeff in person shortly after that when we were in the same city. And after my meeting with Jeff, I said, why did you agree to meet with me, Jeff? I'm just a new entrepreneur. I've been on this business for a little over a year. I'm still trying to figure out what value we're providing and how to turn that into dollars and a Ferrari. And Jeff said, well, Matt, you have a strong personal brand. I instantly saw what you were about on your LinkedIn profile, and I saw some of the other guests you've interviewed. And that's when it clicked for me. You can raise yourself up by your personal network alone, and that's going to bring you success and opportunities that you couldn't have imagined. And for all you business owners out there, this is not about the bottom line, okay? This is about relationships. And of course, opportunities come along with this. But if you're in this for the money, or if you're trying to meet someone for a personal gain, you're not gonna be able to reach success this way, and you wasted your time listening to this TEDx talk. I'm so sorry for your loss. But of course, we're not like that, right? We're gonna provide value to the people we meet, and you're gonna benefit along the way, but that's a symptom of your main strategy of providing value to who you reach out with, okay? I recommend interviewing for you guys. So my call to action for you guys to take after this speech is number one, think about who you wanna interview if you haven't already, and I hope you have. I hope you have a couple candidates. And then the next step is reach out to them, okay? If you've got questions on some of the tools we use or some of the tons of free things online that I use to make this happen, this is it. I believe in you guys. This is the year. This is the era of 1 degree of separation. Thank you.